So today we are in Somerset. I had to turn the hat around backwards so that you can actually see my face in the sun. But if you've never been to Somerset, it is one of the best, most master planned communities in all of Reno. The oldest homes in here are probably about 20 years. You can see out in the distance, it is very undulating and hilly. So we're gonna show you where it is. Now, if you're not familiar, we are in the northwest part of Reno, and Somerset is on the north side of the Highway 80 freeway. And you are definitely almost as far west as you can go, other than Verdi is out on the other side, that direction. But people come out to these areas because the homes are newer, and you can literally get in here anywhere between the low 500s all the way up to a couple of $1 million or more. There are gated communities within Somerset, but anybody can actually get in here. The only downside is if you want some of the amenities, grocery shopping, all those kind of things, there's a little town center down here that you could pick up a few things, but you're going back about 5-7 minutes to either Robb Drive or McCarran Boulevard. We'll take some video of that later to show you some of the normal amenities that aren't that far, but can be a little bit cumbersome. And one of the main reasons why a lot of people like to live in Northwest Reno, or especially in Somerset, is if you're coming here because you wanted to move here from California, but maybe you still work in California, you still have a lot of family and friends in California, you are literally, if you went through Somerset and came out on the north end of it, you are basically in California in about 5 minutes, and you can be literally in Sacramento in about 90 minutes. Obviously, in this time of year, in the winter, you just never know. So today what we wanted to do, and Cindy's gonna give you a little panoramic view. We're gonna drive our way through Somerset. There's golf courses, there's a town center. We'll talk about how we're only about 30 minutes from the north end of Lake Tahoe, and there's lots of, like I said, modern upscale homes. There's Webb in here, which is a 55 plus and over community, and we're gonna show you a lot of these different areas. Climate, we're a little higher elevation than you would be in downtown Reno, and the city sort of keeps panning to her right. Reno, most of the city is to the east of us, but these northwest areas tend to be a little more hilly and a little more windy on occasion when the wind blows. So we're gonna take you on a tour through all things Somerset so you can see what it looks like, and if it's something that you want more information on, we're gonna keep getting you all the details of everything you would need to know here, whether it's a custom home, a condo or a townhome, and all the amenities that you see here in Somerset. So we drove in the main entrance of Somerset, and if you make the first hard left, there's a little gated community right there with some brand new construction homes. We're gonna drive down the street, we'll show you a little bit of those. But you can see right off the backyards of these houses, this is based off Somerset. You can see the big patches of grass out there. That's the golf courses. There's an 18-hole golf course. There's also a 9-hole golf course. But as Sydney, if she pulls up and just kind of gives you a better view of everything, this is part of the reason why people want to live in this area, okay? You have this amazing natural setting. You have mountains. You're looking back towards the west. It's kind of tucked in this nice little bowl. And as we drive through, you're gonna see there's a road that runs right through the middle of Somerset, and there's a bunch of roundabouts, and it's kind of how you tell people where you live in Somerset, which is based off which numbered roundabout, and it goes both directions. But as Sydney keeps panning to her right, you're gonna see this house right here. These things are basically brand new. And the whole reason they set them up this way is because they've got these great backyards and views out towards the west and all of Somerset. And as she keeps going, you're gonna see the one right across the street, they're still under construction. So you can still get brand new versus some of the custom homes and some of the properties that have been out here for almost 20 years. So Somerset, let's take a walk down this little alleyway between the houses that's kind of set up for just access. But I wanted to show you kind of the view back towards it. And as we come over here, again, hat backwards because the sun was in a weird spot today. So if you come down this way, you can see as you look down this street here, you've got lots of new construction. Homes are still being built on the other side. And this is a great option for people if you're looking for something right at the entrance of Somerset, which will get you back to the amenities a lot quicker than when we go to the far end of Somerset as we drive through where the Webb community is. You'll see it's a huge, huge neighborhood, lots and lots of houses. It's kind of similar to the South Meadows area as far as a lot of stucco, a lot of tile, a lot of new, but at the same time, it's on a completely different part of town. And so that way people can decide on which areas work for them, because you can find very similar homes here as you would in Southwest Reno. It's probably honestly a little more high-end stuff here, a little more upper end as far as if you're looking for homes $1 million or more. There's a lot more of those options here in Somerset than there is in the South Meadows. And here there's a lot more custom homes versus there on the south end of town, it's a lot of Toll Brothers track-built homes. You can still customize them a little bit, but not nearly like you can do up here. So let's hop in the car. We're gonna show you some of the houses. We drive by a little bit, and we'll kind of bring you right through the main parts of Somerset. So these are the type of houses you're gonna see a lot of in Somerset. This is from a builder. So these are going to be just semi-custom homes. You can see they're a little more modern with the different roof lines, different colors, paver patios. These neighborhoods have sidewalks on one side but not on the other. And these are all in the last couple of years this hill got built out on. And again, it's gated right now. During the day, the gate is open. A lot of times they'll do that in some of these neighborhoods. And especially when there's not a person there, it doesn't make a huge benefit for people when there is a gated community with no person at the gate, but it's one extra level of safety. These homes, if you look to the other side of the street, there are no homes across from them. So that's kind of a nice feature. It's going to be really private. It's not a really big street that leads back in here. And as we come back out, you're going to see us, we're going to go through the gates. And this is of that first neighborhood to the left. And now we're going to drop down and turn left, and we're going to actually really head into Somerset. So we just came out of that new homes on the left, and we're now dropping down into Somerset. What's funny is there's a bunch of homes up here on the right-hand side that technically are not part of Somerset, but everyone I think always feels like they are just because they're right there. But as we come down this road here, we're going to make a quick left, and this is where the least expensive properties in all of Somerset are. There's a little gated townhome community right here. We've had a handful of people that we've helped buy and sell in there. And so it's an inexpensive way to get into this area, and especially for someone that might want to have a second home and you're not full-time in Northern Nevada, it actually makes great sense for people that are looking for those kind of things. So it's a really good option. And again, here, if you notice, they're numbered. I don't know if you saw that in the video, but it says number 2. All these roundabouts are numbered in Somerset so that people know where they're going. So we're going to make a hard loop on this, and we're going to pull towards the gates of what is that townhome. And then again, this is that town center. So like I said, there's not a ton of amenities that are here in Somerset, but as we pause and we go to the right, there are some things right here. All right, so we pulled, as you came right down Somerset, we're now in that front entrance area, and this is the club at town center. There's a pool, there's workout areas, and if City pans to her right, this is where there are a few amenities, a few places to eat, get a cup of coffee, do a few things along those lines, but there's residential and townhomes really close on both sides. So this area has gotten a lot more upgraded over the last few years. There didn't used to be a whole lot of stuff here. We're gonna walk in this town center real quick and see if they'll let us shoot a little video in there so you guys can see what it looks like and see what the pool looks like. But it's definitely kind of the hub of Somerset. So for people that live in here, everybody pays a one master plan HOA fee. Then there's a few gated within Somerset that they also pay some other additional HOA fees. But we're gonna hopefully walk in there real quick, and we're gonna take a little video of the pool and show people what the actual clubhouse and this town center actually offers. So let's go take a peek. We got into the club at the town center here in Somerset. The gal was nice enough to let us in. And if we pan a little bit, this is where when you live here, part of your HOA fees are included. You get access to the swimming pools. There's a couple of tennis courts over on the other side. And on the indoor, there's all kinds of actual other amenities that we can't walk around. They won't let us walk around and show you all that stuff. But I just want you to know that's part of what the HOA fees cover here. So Sid, if you walk up a little bit, you can give a little pan of what's going on here. So on the inside as well, if you have young kids, there are after-school programs and things that happen here. So that's a huge benefit for many people. There's also places you can rent for meeting space and other things. It's a huge building. Like I said, this is kind of the whole hub of that Somerset area that you can pretty much use most of it full time. Obviously here in Reno in the weather in the wintertime, you're probably not swimming in the pool. I'm sure at some point they shut it down for the winter. But these are one of the main reasons why people like to live in Somerset. So we want to just make sure that you're aware of all the other added benefits that this area has that maybe some of the other neighborhoods in town that we talk about here in Reno do not. If you're someone who's thinking about starting your journey to homeownership here in Northern Nevada, click the link in the description below. You can get a copy of our free buyer's guide. It'll get you some of the general information you need to get started on your journey to buying property here in Northern Nevada. All right, so we have now pulled into one of the neighborhoods off one of the roundabouts. You're gonna see these rock retaining walls all over the place. And it's funny, right? We just pulled down to a dead end street. So we're gonna flip a U-turn. And in here, you'll see real quick, Sid's gonna show you there's a walking trail. And there's lots of walking trails here in Somerset. So, I mean, I think there's literally upwards of 20 miles of walking trails. And so for people, again, that want to be able to just right from their door, get outside, take a little walk, go from there. But these kind of houses, if you look at them and you watched our video on the South Meadows, it's very similar as far as the rock work, the stucco, And again, you can find stuff in here anywhere from 1,200, 1,300 square feet, and you can go much, much larger. Again, I did some research. There's been 130 home sales here in the Somerset area so far this year at the time of us shooting this video. And there were 3 under $500,000. There were also a couple over $2 million. But the majority of stuff that happens in here is going to be anywhere between, let's say, $700,000 up to about the $1, $2, $1, $3 million range. And so you'll see that from the outside. Again, a lot of it just depends on how big they are, what the sizes are. But these walking trails that Sydney's recording right now, you're going to see all over Somerset. When we get to the next roundabout, what I'll do is I'll loop it into one of these neighborhoods so you can see, again, a lot of different builders built in here, a lot of different custom homes versus non-custom homes. But I'm going to make this loop, and you'll get to see part of the golf course as well, which funnels really kind of right through the middle of Somerset. So as I pull over here to the right, or I'm sorry, to the left, Sydney can show you. We'll take a little pause here for a minute. And you can see right here, there's part of the golf course. And it is target golf. It is narrow and tight. So for those of you that like a little more wide open, this may not be the golf course for you. But now as we go in these neighborhoods, and none of the streets seem like they run parallel. They're all curvy and twisty. And you'll see a lot of that split rail wood fencing that's really common in this area. But as we roll through here, and again, if you actually go in front of us, Sid, you can see, go out through the top, you can see those houses up on the hill. You're going to see, I'm going to pull over because there's a car behind me. I'm going to let him go. You can see some of those that are much larger. There's going to be price points that go all over the place. So you can see why that would happen, or why that would be the case. But again, we're going to now make a right, and it just loops up. So you're going to see constant up, down, twisty, turny. And I know there's another golf hole up here on the right. So I'm not trying to go too fast since we're trying to record out the window. If you want to go back out the other side window, that's fine. And again, now what's happened is a lot of the landscaping, a lot of the trees, a lot of the shrubs and bushes, a lot of this has gotten a lot more grown up. When you first move into these neighborhoods, everything seems so tiny and small. And of course, we are at the time recording this in the fall, and you can see, the hillsides get brown, things start to change. A lot of the trees you're starting to see in these videos are starting to turn colors and make changes. And so the nice part again is we're driving, you're shooting out towards the west, and we are not far from Verdi if you want to live in those areas. Here's another golf hole that Sydney can show you. So they're just kind of tucked in these neighborhoods. So you have to be careful that where you buy a house if it's not something where you want to be right on the golf course. But you can see the homes are nicely spread out. There's a lot more room here, and the price points again all over the place. So we're going to just take you a little way back here. I know back in the day when a lot of these homes unfortunately got built at that time when the real estate economy fell apart. And so there was a lot of homes in here that sale prices go way up, then sale prices come way back down. And now there's a lot more stability in this Somerset area. You're not seeing the short sales and foreclosures that you saw for a little while back in the early kind of 5, 6, 7, 8, 2000s range in those regards. So now this is Toll Brothers. We sold some of these homes that are in here, and you could see a lot bigger garages, a lot of 3-car garages. Here you go. Here's what we're talking about with these retaining walls. You see a lot of this in Somerset. And you have to be careful because obviously critters and things live in those walls. And then you'll see a lot of these sort of little common area landscapes because it's so hilly in here, they couldn't just build in all the lots and do all the square stuff. So for example, you're now going to see, as we kind of loop in this roundabout, a little variety of, here's one with more of your traditional tile rock work. And now here's one that's got the circular turret and unusual stucco around those garage doors. So if you had a really big truck or something, you might not be able to fit in some of these garages. Paver driveways, some people getting ready to do some Halloween decorating. But again, here's some fake turf. Actually, that might be real grass. It just looks so good. It looks like fake turf. But again, these look like a lot of the homes in either Arrow Creek on the south end of town. So you see in Reno a lot of homes, especially that are all built in the last 20, 25 years, a lot of the same builders just built in multiple parts of Northern Nevada. And so you'll see similar properties, and it's just a matter of what part of town you want to be in. And of course, in the Northwest and in the Southwest, those areas are going to be more expensive than if you were looking in some of the older areas. Because again, those homes, it depends if they've been remodeled or not. But in these areas, and again, this one is a gated section, but not massive variety, at least from the exteriors. You'll see a lot different on the interior. So we're gonna take a little break on the video. We're gonna drive you more towards the back of Somerset and take you to a really affordable area called Del Webb. So if you're someone who's in that 55 and over community and is thinking about wanting to be in this area and not having to spend $1.2 million, $1.5 million and get a big custom home, but maybe you travel a lot, maybe you have a second home somewhere else, and you're trying to find a way to have a place here in Northern Nevada that you can use for parts of the year when the weather here is fantastic and maybe you're not into the winter months. We'll show you that Del Webb area. Hopefully they'll let us in there so we can show you the inside of their club and gym area, and they have a nice pool that is strictly obviously for adults, and go from there. If you look up to the left, there's a huge house, and you can see in the distance another golf hole and a golf flag. So they are really, that golf course is really tucked in here, and you just got to be paying attention to where your house is so that you're not going to get hit by golf balls. But let's go check out Del Webb. And now we are about to turn on what's called Del Webb Parkway. This is what's called the Aspen Lodge, and we are going to give you hopefully an indoor look at this. So this is specific to the people who live in Del Webb. This is one of the most affordable parts in here. These homes are built specifically for the 55 and over. So lots of one story. You can get as small as 2 bedrooms. If you look out that way, there's pickleball, tennis ball, tennis courts. Seems like a lot of places originally had tennis courts. And so we're gonna see if we can't take a quick peek inside of Del Webb so we can show you what the views look like off the back. You can imagine they're awesome. And again, this is specific to just people who are 55 and over. So if you're trying to stay away from the young kids, nothing against young kids. My kids are grown. I had young kids. This is the area to be in so that you can be in much more of an adult community. So let's see if we can't get a look inside and see if they'll let us show you a little bit around of the clubhouse of Del Webb. All right, so we are now in the back of what's called the Aspen Lodge. We walked right through their clubhouse. They're not big fans of us shooting video inside the clubhouse, but you can see there's this amazing outdoor space. So there's fire pits, there's an amazing view. A lot of the homes that you're seeing right in the distance behind us are all around here are the 55 and over community stuff. And if you walk this way, right inside there is where their gym is. It's a really kind of a cool 2-story gym. They've got like a walking path upstairs so that when you are here and the weather's not great and you can't walk outside on all these walking trails, then you can do it on an indoor situation. So they've got all this cool stuff here, and then down here on the end is where the pool is. So there's a hot tub, there's a pool. Actually, you can only see the video of the actual hot tub right now. The pool, there's an outdoor pool. But if you were to go right inside there, that's where their workout gym is. And again, upstairs there's a cool indoor walking trail. But if Sid pans this way, all these homes you're seeing right here off the back that are obviously a lot smaller, and most of what you're seeing out this direction is much more in that $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 price point. Then people can get here. It's much more affordable. And again, if you're someone that's trying to get back to California, this is a great place to start because we're going to drive out that direction. And now you're at the very back of Somerset versus driving through all those roundabouts. And we didn't take you through all of those today because it can be pretty long from the front to the back of Somerset. But again, we'll take you out the back. We'll take some pictures and some video of some of the amenities as far as grocery shopping and things on those lines that are not that far away from Somerset. But you can see in here, it's mostly residential. There is that golf course. And again, at the very beginning where we started, you had some of those restaurants and coffee, but there's not a lot in here. You got to get outside of Somerset for those things. So let's take a walk back through. Like I said, I wish I could take more video on the inside. They just don't allow it. But if you Google online and look up the Del Webb community in Somerset, you'll get a lot of indoor pictures off of their website that you can see. And it's a pretty awesome place for those of you that are looking to get here that don't want to be around the younger people. Okay, so we are now in the very back section of Somerset. We are a good 3 miles or so probably from those front entrances and from the front amenities that we talked about that are in Somerset. This is the least expensive part of Somerset. This is when you're going to see a ton of 1-story, kind of more entry-level housing here on this back section. And as we're coming out, you used to not be able to get out this way, but you're actually able to get to that freeway on 80 here shortly. So we'll show you there's a big overhang that we're going to see. That's kind of the entrance from this direction to Somerset. So if you were coming in from 80 and you were coming from California, you could come in on this side, get in and out of Somerset and not have to worry about driving through the entire thing. There's this really kind of cool storage facility here. So if you were someone who went from a really big house to something smaller now, you've got this nice storage facility. Like I said, we're right here by 80 now. So we are on the back end of Somerset, which leads you right into Verdi. So this is now from the other side. We just got off 80, turned right, and you can see here's where the amenities are. If we made a left at this traffic light, in 5 minutes, you're right at the entrance of Somerset. So depending on where in Somerset you live, it's kind of like in Arrow Creek. When you get tucked way back in Arrow Creek, you could be quite a ways deep in there, and it takes a little while to get back to amenities. But if you're at the front, it might only be 5 to 7 minutes. And here's what we're talking about with gas stations, grocery stores in the distance. The elementary school's 2 minutes from here. And as we drive through, there's this entry-level stuff. And then we're going to drive through a section real quick here that's called Northwest Reno. This is kind of a 30-plus-year-old homes. A lot of these were built in the 80s and 90s. This is more of a rental area now, affordable homes, smaller homes. But as you come through here, and we're going to be 2 minutes, on the right-hand side, there's going to be a big Raley's grocery store and shopping center. And at some point, you might even see a giant blue roof up there. You'll see where the elementary school is. But this just shows you you're not very far from amenities, even though I said in Somerset there aren't tons of amenities other than that town center shopping center. So I know that for some people, it's not going to be a quick 2 minutes to grab a gallon of milk, but it's not very far. Here's a daycare center. Here is a giant church. This is a huge church for people living in Northwest Reno. I know a lot of people that go to that church. And then just past this church on both sides of the street, you get back into the commercial area. So there's going to be tons of commercial. There's actually a park on the left side. I told you they put parks all over the place. Now on the left side is much more like office commercial, where on the right there's going to be a restaurant, a grocery store. There's just all kinds of amenities. We're going to go around this 18-wheeler. And if we pull in here, which I'll do, I'll pull into this parking lot. You can get an idea. This is where, again, you're not far to get to where you need to go. There's a bank in here. There's just your usual, like I would say, your usual strip mall amenities. Physical therapy, sushi, breakfast places, grocery store. And as we loop around to go another 2-3 minutes, we're going to go down around the bend here, and we're going to go down another 2 or 3 minutes, and then you've got the really big stuff, the Home Depots and Walmarts of the world, all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, you've got the short-term stuff, easy to get to, quick, easy things. So we're now coming back to one of the main drags. If we turn left, it takes you right back to Robb Drive, get you to the freeway. But we're going to head down towards McCarran. And again, on the freeway, this would have just been Robb Drive to McCarran Drive. It's about a mile extra on the freeway. And again, we're driving through the part of Northwest Reno. You can still see there's new construction happening. So you can still find that if you're looking for new construction. The time frames are a little further out. This will be a little more affordable than some of the new construction we saw up in Somerset. But as you come down this road, and again, we're talking about another 60, maybe 90 seconds down this road. This is the main, the main drag through Northwest Reno before you get to McCarran. And again, when we hit McCarran, you would turn right, you'd be on the freeway. You turn left, and you're going to be at the university in about 7 to 10 minutes. So a lot of people with college students and things on those lines would buy property up here, rent out the houses, because it was a pretty quick drive back to the university. A lot of people that work at the university like to live in these neighborhoods because it's not very far away. But as you come through here, and you're going to see in a minute, this is where all the amenities go. So in this traffic light, now we've got everything on steroids. You got all the big amenities. Big Walmart to the left. If I remember right, Home Depot's to the right. And again, across the way, grocery stores, fast food restaurants, all the normal stuff you'll see in a residential neighborhood that you would be looking for. So again, a little further out of Somerset, not exactly a 2-minute drive, but not very far. And you could either do it from the freeway, or for most people, if you live on the more front end of Somerset, you would basically come right down the main drag here, and now off we go. Huge question I get from a lot of potential buyers is they want views. Where can I get views? And I always say there's definitely views in Reno. You can see we have an amazing view here. Just depends on what kind of views you want. Some people want views back towards downtown. Some people in the south want views back towards Mount Rose, and other people want views like this. You can see the gorgeous golf holes, the Sierra Nevada mountains. California is just out that direction, and as Sydney walks forward, you can see these homes are right on that main drag that runs right through Somerset. But again, it's not a huge traffic area, especially the further back you get. And if you look out here to the right, just behind these neighborhoods and all these houses to the right is where we were talking about before, where the 55 and over community is. But I mean, who's not going to get a better view and a better feeling about a neighborhood with views than you're getting right now? And you can see in the wintertime when some of this turns white and we get snow, you can imagine how gorgeous it is up here. And again, there's all these common areas. If you keep going to the right, another one of these parks that we had mentioned before. And again, all those homes up on the hill are more of your standard tract homes, so the pricing is not going to be as unaffordable as some of these custom homes are. But of course, they're paying premium dollars up there too, because you get this amazing view back towards town. So you see this all over Somerset, and these are the reasons why people want to live in these areas. It's just gorgeous. Hope you're enjoying the content we're putting out each and every week, and please check out this video we did. We'll see you over there on all the things about cost of living here in Northern Nevada, because I know you guys that are watching these videos are coming from somewhere else and you want to know, what does it cost to live here? Well, check this video out. It tells you all the things you need to know, and if you have questions, just reach out to us anytime.